Nuria,
Oh,
as you lived
yeah.
in the UAE, do Arabs know what Islam actually says? Because if they read the Quran, they could actually understand it. Now, this is a common question. Just to give a bit of a context, why the Berb is asking the question is because we say that okay, I think what is 60% of Islam is in. Oh no, I think 70% of Islam is outside of Arab speakers, Turks, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India,
Mm.
Indonesia, Malaysia, where Arabic is not native to us. So fair enough, we're just reading it. We don't know what it says, but we're just reading it. We're praying. We don't know what we're saying. But then what about the Arabs?
Yeah, sorry
They
to Abu Lahab,
understand
who I
it.
cussed out so many times. I'm sorry, mate. I did not know what I was saying.
Yeah. So yeah. So exactly. We actually didn't know that we were cussing Abu Lahab. Who? What am I actually saying? But anyway.
Didn't mean
So
to hurt you or your wife.
what do if Arabs get it? Why don't they leave Islam? So they can't say that. Well, we didn't know what was in it because Pakistani Muslims don't know what's in the Quran and the Hadith books.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I also think the problem is in a lot of modern Arabic countries, what is considered the Quranic Arabic is like literally considered Arabic, classical Arabic in the literature. So what they speak now is modern standard Arabic, and then they have all of the like linguistic variations depending on which country. So the Egyptian dialect is very different from the Levantine dialect, which is very different from the Gulf dialect, which is mostly like in the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, those kind of areas. So there's a distinct different way they have of speaking. But yeah, the Quran, even when you're studying Arabic in school, because you are an Arab and you have to, the literature that they look into is they like normal like Arabs my age would find it really, really difficult. And they're like, we don't use like a lot of these words in the modern context in the way they speak. So, there's certain things which you obviously you can pick up. But again, the Quran still has that mystical element to it where this is written in like older classical Arabic and we don't need to know it verbatim, word for word. We just need to know enough to pray. And we like Islam is so embedded culturally into them. So you grow up, you think wearing an abaya is completely normal, putting a shayla on, like just covering your head a bit, it's all normal. But that stems from like cultural norms as opposed to they know that Surah Nisa says this in the Quran and therefore they have to do it. So yeah, I don't think they even know to be honest the way that like Pakistani Muslims or non-native Arab speakers know it as well. They have a much better chance of like being able to understand it if they put their head like if they really wanted to focus, because you can just like you can take a couple of classes to learn about classical Arabic and then pretty much your understanding of the Quran would be a lot more thorough. But as I said, they're not really concerned. In the UAE as well, they're living such a good life, most of them. Emiratis are anyway, because the government pays like subsidizes their life like heavily, and you're guaranteed like a government job, chilled working hours. You don't need to worry about like a pension or anything. So that they don't really have much time to dedicate to pursuing Islam or understanding the nitty-gritty of it. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, but also the other thing is, I think some of these things that they are actually aware of, and I think a lot of muftis have actually spoken about it. For example, the issue of Quran and Nuria, you being I don't know. I can sometimes I can never relate with you. I can't say whether you're Pakistani or not because you actually didn't never lived in Pakistan. But amongst Pakistani Muslims and even in India and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, well, non-native Urdu Arabic speakers, we've been told, not even the letters Zair Zabar. How would you say the dots? Not even a single dot is out of place.
Yeah, I think that yeah.
Yeah, so they drum that in us just to emphasize on the point that this means that it is the literal word of God and God has taken the responsibility of protecting it. Whereas when you take the same issue to the Arabic speakers, they don't see it like that. When you tell them, hey, there's so many different versions of Islam or the Quran, they actually don't react to it. So because they've always known it. Their parents never told them, hey, look, not a single dot is out of place, because they know that those dots and the zays and zabas, they were added later on. So they know that. They know that Hafs and Warsh and all these different versions of Islam, they've known about it. Saudi Arabian government has an actual website that actually shows all the different versions of Islam, versions of the Quran, and you can download it. But these लंडे के मुसलमान. You know, how should
Taurus
these
Sultan.
these made in China, Pakistan Muslims, you know, like so these Muslims were just like, they don't know anything. They're just like, okay, daddy, papa, what should I be? Okay, you should be a Muslim. Okay, all right. So those Muslims, they don't know anything about it. So they go, okay, all right. That's why they actually don't know. And now when we tell them that, hey, look, this is what Islam says. If you told an Saudi Arabian or Omani or Qatari that, oh, you know what, the child marriage, 9-year-old, they're like, yeah, well, we've known this. They've always known this. But Muslims, or about sex slaves. But Pakistanis, they've been told, oh no, Islam is a religion of honor. We respect women, no sex. Look below, you know, don't look at a woman. And then and this is what we grew up with. And then I'm like, what? You tell me don't look at a woman, but your freaking prophet was banging every opportunity he got. So that's that is also a reason why they are already desensitized. Native Arabic speakers are already desensitized. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.